Hello, dear friends. Today, let's remember about a great athlete of the golden era of bodybuilding, Mike Mentzer. Not all athletes of the golden era were lucky to live a long and rich life. Unfortunately, there were bodybuilders who left very early, and one of them is our current athlete. Mike is the author of Super Training Methods and one of the outstanding athletes of his time who was worthy to perform at the professional level. I have great respect for Mike Mentzer, and his form is a reference in terms of aesthetics, symmetry, and proportion as an ancient Greek god where everything is perfect mass. Dranus, a reference example of an athlete. In this video, I will not dwell in detail on the biography of Mentzer, as well as I do not want here for the 100th time to sort out his confrontation with Arnold at the scandalous Olympia in the 80th. I say that I do not see the point in general and principle to sort out that already billions of times voiced by other bloggers on their YouTube channels and repeat after them. I would like to talk about what exactly negatively affected the health of our current hero and why he left quite early. He died in 2001 from a heart attack, as has been said many times. The most common cause of death in bodybuilders, in addition to magic pills in his arsenal, were drugs, which naturally had a very negative impact on the health of the athlete. In 1979, Mike first tried amphetamine, and his goal was to work. No, not just to train a lot, but a monstrous amount. Here's how, for example, looked like his daily routine in preparation for the Olympia in the 80s. Rise at 4 a.m., at 7 a.m. training, then at 9 a.m. writing articles, at 2 p.m. cycling 14 miles, at 4 a.m. sleep, followed at 6 a.m. jogging 4 miles, 8 p.m. practicing posing. At 9 p.m. studying philosophy and dealing with mail, 11 a.m. sleep. That is, as you understand, quite a busy day. Do not forget about the diet, although it is more accurate to say a crazy training schedule, 2 cardio plus to everything, mental load. Studying philosophy, which was a real hobby, also writing articles, which was a job for him at the time. Also working with clients by mail. There were no cell phones, messengers. Zone training, and many trainers work this way with their clients. In this schedule, there is no rest that could relieve the psyche, no walks, no going to the movies, and of course no additional hobbies, although you can include philosophy, but philosophy is a mental load, and it did not help much to relieve the psyche. Yes, cycling and jogging can fulfill this function, if not very intensively, but considering that he was training in denial and it's just a nightmare, and 2 jobs, which also require a lot of resources, but it's not surprising that Mike could not cope without additional means, and all this is why Mike started using amphetamine, which, like all stimulants, gives energy on credit, i.e. today, for example, plus 100% to productivity, and tomorrow 150% to it. The same applies with.
I don't think there's anything wrong with taking stimulation to make yourself work as hard as I did. A lot of people drink coffee and smoke cigarettes to stay focused and productive. I was a productive genius, but I lost sight of the fact that the body and mind have limitations.
Mike literally described the effects of any hard drug. At first, it may be empowering. Somewhere it may make you feel better and more productive, but then, as Mike himself says, the human body has limitations, and that's a key factor in the effects of more than just drugs. Mike quickly realized that he had gone too far and his life was going in the wrong direction. As you know, after the scandalous Olympia in the 80s, our current hero took up coaching and began to publish more articles and books, but still combined a lot of different things and trained people and worked with the text, and himself also tried to keep himself in shape, and of course did not forget to take amphetamine on a regular basis to cope with such a load. But as time went on, things started to go downhill. Mike worked as editor-in-chief of Workout magazine, but the magazine was shut down, and it was very much his life's work, and he strived to make it the best bodybuilding magazine.
It was out of control. I began to realize that the emotional trauma of my father's death, the closing of the magazine, and the end of my relationship with Kathy, combined with my amphetamine use, had really done something to my mind. I knew I had to face that fact or my life would be over as soon as that realization came. I was shocked at how much time I had wasted, that it was time to move on, time to get back to what you know, Mentzer
said he in an interview. In 1991, Mike quit using amphetamine and returned to coaching and publishing articles, which helped him to quickly gain clients and a good income. However, as we know, in 2001, our current hero did not become. He passed away as a result of a heart attack. It is known that in the same year he was already in the hospital because of the detachment of the thrombus in the pulmonary artery, and then he was also diagnosed with 2 silent heart attacks. It is known that he smoked a lot and worked until the end of his life. And it's also known that morphine was found in our hero's blood, which he took as an anesthetic to relieve back pain. I'm not sure whether the drug was prescribed by a doctor or whether he prescribed it to himself and began to use it on his own initiative. Just keep this information in mind. Maybe yes, maybe no. Also, together with Mike died and his younger brother Ray, who was 47 years old, the difference between their deaths was less than 48 hours. His brother was also a bodybuilder and also with a very cool form. What conclusion can be drawn from the life of Mike Mentzer? Unequivocally, he is a very talented bodybuilder and trainer who has achieved a lot in his direction and also in writing various materials such as books. The most popular of which is, of course, the famous Super Training, and also popular in numerous articles in various magazines. But unfortunately, drugs also reach such seemingly intelligent bodybuilders as Mentzer at a certain stage simply lost control over his life. And when he took it into his own hands, his health was ruined, and even after quitting amphetamines, Mike lived only 10 years and died at the age of 49. That's a pretty early age, especially by American standards. Especially for a man with an above-average income. Yes, Mike was definitely not poor, and it is quite logical based on how many top athletes he trained and how popular his materials were. At that time, the bodybuilding industry in the US was actively developing. In the 70s and 80s, people with a cool body had a chance to make good money. I mean that with the level of wealth that he had, he could have invested in some business or invested and just worked less. But no, Mike chose this way. His soul demanded it. The man is just the way he is. There is a category of people who live just for the sake of working hard to the maximum of possibilities. This is just the case when you should not condemn him for this. It was his personal choice, and do not forget about the anabolics, which also had a negative impact on the athlete's health. I found different information on this subject. Some sources say that he always prepared only on 1-methane in dosages of 30 to 50 milligrams. I do not believe in this because it is impossible to build such a body purely on it. He was too massive. And other sources generally found information about crazy doses of drugs, and they're reported that he took only Deca, about 2 grams, and that there were other drugs in addition. It is certainly dosages. They are crazy. I do not know whether it is true or not, but I think quite logical. Now imagine what a powerful cocktail it is to lose your cardiovascular system. We all have a certain resource in each of the organs and systems, and this resource is spent throughout life. There are factors that use it up even faster, and here there are 2 factors, and both are very hard: anabolics and drugs. And although we can also highlight a third factor, physical activity, after all, professional bodybuilding with its large mass and heavy training is not good for the heart, but on the contrary, exhausting. Before us we see a very typical picture when a person, for the sake of achieving their goals, began to use what gives strength on credit and TR. And that's all for now. Write in the comments what you think on this topic. I hope you like this format with a detailed analysis of athletes of the past. Because as they say, smart learns from other people's mistakes, and a fool on his own. Thanks for your attention. See you in the new video. Bye.